Well, thank you, Chairman McGovern and Ranking Member Cole, for the opportunity to discuss my amendment, HR 7608. First, Amendment number 9 to Division C is a straight strike amendment removing language that is bold and insulting to my district. Iron ore is used to build America. Iron ore has won 2 world wars, and our iron ore is the cleanest and strongest of any nation. If we want renewable energy, we need iron ore mining. One wind turbine contains 300 tons of steel. Unfortunately, my Democrat colleague from St. Paul, Minnesota, authored a bill that includes language that stops mine plans from existing iron ore operations in my district. The Mintac mine, the Menorca mine, and the North Shore mine combined employ more than 2,000 Minnesotans. Section 435 of Division C is a message to these employees that their jobs don't matter, that their families don't deserve a paycheck, even during this global pandemic. Mr. Chairman, China is responsible for more than half of the world's steel production today. China's steel is poor quality and it's built with horrific labor and environmental standards. I don't know about you, but I want northern Minnesota to continue feeding the world's steel needs and not China. This provision furthers China's grasp on the global steel market. This provision favors China over northern Minnesota. Sadly, it confirms a fear that I and my constituents have held for a long time, that my colleague from St. Paul wants to end all mining in northern Minnesota, whether it be precious metals like copper, nickel, cobalt, and rare earths, or aggregates like stone, sand, and gravel, or iron ore, which builds America. I ask that my amendments be made in order and supported on the floor, and choose northern Minnesota workers over China and its allies, like my colleague from St. Paul. Amendment number 10 to Division A draws attention to harmful report language because of an ideological opposition to any kind of mining. This provision was inserted by the majority to create another unnecessary hurdle to a mining project in my district. Mr. Chairman, we need mining in this country. For example, cobalt is necessary to build electric cars. The International Energy Agency estimates that you need around 20 pounds of cobalt for each car produced. As we continue to buy electric cars, our need for cobalt will continue to grow. And who is the top producer of cobalt in the world? According to the IEA, the Congo is at the top by a massive margin, supplying more than 71% of the world's resources. Second place, Russia, with 4%. What else is the Congo a world leader in? Child labor. About 40,000 boys and girls are forced to work in cobalt mines to produce these minerals. It does not have to be this way. My district contains 88% of our country's cobalt reserves. Union workers in my district are ready and able to mine the cobalt and other minerals needed by the United States and others. Unfortunately, the report language in this bill requires other foreign countries to sign off on mining projects that take place in northern Minnesota. In other words, this report states that a foreign country has to give us permission to mine in our own lands in this country. Just last month, I introduced an amendment to the highway bill in markup that would have required the Secretary of Commerce to certify that our electric vehicle infrastructure is not built with child labor. It passed in committee 43-16. But what did the majority do? They stripped it out in the middle of the night before it could reach the floor. I never thought child labor was a partisan issue. Mr. Chair, another amendment of mine asked for a modest increase for the forest products timber sale program. Our logging communities from northern Minnesota have been hit hard by the pandemic, and doubly so with the rash of mill closures. This amendment increases funding for both the National Forest System and the forest products line item, allowing our loggers to access both the Chippewa and Superior National Forests in northern Minnesota and throughout the country. This increase, coupled with further legislation to benefit our loggers, is the least we can do for these communities. And lastly, I offer an amendment to delist the gray wolf. The gray wolf still haunts northern Minnesota. President Obama's Fish and Wildlife Service rightfully delisted the gray wolf in 2013. Let me quote then Fish and Wildlife Service Director Dan Ash, and I quote directly from his press release. An exhaustive review of the latest scientific information shows that we have accomplished our goal with the gray wolf. This is a simple ask and a rightful one. If you agree with President Obama and his Fish and Wildlife Service about delisting the gray wolf, then make this amendment in order. Mr. Chair, thank you, and I yield back.